Hello, fellow creators. So, have you ever wondered how the quantum reality, the quantum dimension, integrates with us every day? And have you ever thought that maybe understanding it a little bit better, as we've talked about before, can help expand the possibilities to improve our life? Better health, better wealth, better relationships and friends. It's all possible, and all possibilities are in the eternal now. So here's Dr. Joe Dispenza to break down the science of how the quantum reality really works and how ultimately you can become pure consciousness and integrate with it to create the ideal life.
Let's talk about the definition of the quantum field. Think of the quantum field as an invisible field of energy that exists beyond this space and time. There are no people there, there are no things, there's no place to go, there isn't even time. It's one infinite field of energy and information that has nothing physical or material, and you can experience the quantum field with your senses. So quantum physicists, for almost 100 years, have been trying to understand this unifying field. And in fact, they've given the name to the quantum field as the unified field. And they're interested in studying the mathematics of unifying all the forces that begin to cause order in our three-dimensional world. Think about the Big Bang. After the Big Bang, after that explosion, there was tremendous amount of order that was created after that explosion. If you observed an explosion that took place in this three-dimensional reality, there's typically disorder. And after the Big Bang, we have order, some unifying field, some intelligence that's governing the nature of reality. So then, what are the forces then that begin to unify all of these different elements to create such order? Quantum physicists have come up with all different theories to begin to understand with the mathematics how all this energy works to create such order. So think of the unified field as an invisible field of energy that connects and organizes everything physical. We've talked in previous episodes about living by the hormones of stress. And when we're under the gun of the fight or flight nervous system and the brain and body are aroused, the very chemicals of stress heighten our senses and we become materialists, perceiving our world in three-dimensional reality. So then when we feel the chemicals of stress and we're living as matter, local in space and time, then we feel separate from everything material or physical. So think about the three-dimensional reality as giving us the illusion of everything separate. In the unified field, the quantum field, the zero-point field, that universal energy that's governing and creating order in all of three-dimensional reality, that energy has nothing to do with separation. We would say that this energy is about connection, and everything in the material world is interacting with each other in terms of energy. So the physical reality we experience with our senses. If we can't see our dreams, we can't smell them, we can't hear them, we can't feel them, we can't taste them, they don't exist for us. But the quantum model reality is a reality that exists beyond our senses. You can only experience it with your awareness. So then three-dimensional reality has everything that's material, has height and depth and width. The quantum field is made of energy, frequency, vibration, information, consciousness. It's the realm of thought. So then, if we're matter trying to change matter, it will always take time for us to manifest reality. Why? Because we live in a realm where there's an infinite amount of space. And we experience time by moving through space. And so here I am, one point of consciousness, one point of awareness, and then I have my attention on another point of consciousness. Let's say my car. So if I want to go from one point of awareness to another point of awareness, I would have to move my body through space. And when I move my body through space, it takes time. So then, based on my experience of the past and how fast I walk, I can determine about how long it's going to take me to get from one point to another point. So then here's me, Joe Dispenza, and then here's my dreams way over there. And most people then begin to try to predict when their dreams are going to come true. So they do that based on their past experience of linear time. So then their dreams are way out there, and now they have to move their body through space, matter to matter, every single day to arrive at their dreams. And of course, it takes time to do that. So if reality is both a particle and a wave, if it's both matter and energy, and we're functioning in this three-dimensional world and all of our attention is on everything material, and we understood from previous episodes that if you're living in the familiar past or you're living in the predictable future, then for the most part, you're living in the known. Now that sweet spot of the generous present moment is called the unknown, and that unknown is where all possibilities exist. Now let's demystify the quantum field. If you took away all the people, all the objects, all the places, you took away the sun, you took away the earth, the moon, the planets, the stars, the light from the stars, the galaxies, you took away everything material, what would you be left with? An infinite void of anything physical or material. And that fertile void, just because you can't see something, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And that fertile void is filled with possibilities, filled with unknown experiences. So then how do we get from the known to the unknown? How do we get from the material world to the immaterial world? How do we get from the world of the senses to the world beyond the senses? How do we move from the world of the predictable to the world of the unpredictable? How do we move from three-dimensional reality into other dimensions or other realities? And I want to talk to you about the formula that allows you to get there. So in other episodes, we talked briefly about getting beyond the self. That most people spend the majority of their life living in separation instead of living in connection. And because they're feeling local in space and time as a body, then they're using their body to begin to create outcomes in their life. They'll spend the majority of their life developing an identity that's connected to knowing someone, to living somewhere, to owning certain things and living in certain places at certain times. And this becomes the autobiographical self that is stored in the thinking neocortex. So then when a person goes from a narrow focus to a broad focus, and they take their attention off of everything material, and they begin to open their awareness not to matter, but broadening their focus and tuning into energy or information or nothing material, the act of opening their awareness allows them to begin to change their brainwaves. And you learn then that if you do this properly, as you slow your brainwaves down, you begin to get beyond the analytical mind. And if you're not thinking about anybody, if you're not feeling the pain in your body, if you're not thinking about checking your text, if you're not thinking about where you need to go or where you're sitting or how much time you have, you would begin to no longer activate the circuits in your autobiographical thinking brain that has everything to do with everything known in your life. And as you begin to suppress this part of your brain, the seat of your identity, your personality, and you slow your brain waves down, as you do that and you begin to tune into energy, that unifying field, its signature is oneness or wholeness or greater levels of order or connection. And as you begin to become aware of it and put your attention on it, and as you begin to sense the vastness of that empty void, as you begin to focus on nothing but energy, if you can begin to keep your attention on it, it will begin to create more order or more coherence in your brain. So not only do you change your brain waves, but as you learned, you create more order and more coherence because the brain's attention is on something that's highly orderly. And we could say that the moment you take your attention off your body, you go from a somebody to a nobody. The moment you take your attention off your identity that's connected to certain people and certain things or times and places, you will become no one, in nothing, in nowhere, in no time. And that is the moment you become pure consciousness and you disconnect from everything known in your three-dimensional reality. And we could say then, if you're no longer in the familiar past or the predictable future, you are falling into the eternal now. And according to the quantum model of reality, all possibilities exist in the eternal now. That means then, in the now, you're no longer in the known. Now you're in the unknown, and that's where all possibilities exist.
Welcome back, fellow creators. It's quite interesting to see how the quantum field works and really understand ultimately how it can help you change your reality. Now, I want to highlight the fact that when we acknowledge the eternal now, become in the present, as we talked about this channel quite a bit, then we become pure consciousness. You don't focus on any material thing, you don't focus on anything around you, you just become pure awareness. So when we don't focus on anything, become nobody, no one, no thing, and just allow ourselves to become pure consciousness, then we enter the realm of all possibilities. And that's very exciting, because when all possibilities are available, what would you do? You have the ability to create, to use the building blocks, to ultimately create that ideal life or that better life that you want, that you've been searching for, that you've been yearning for. It's so interesting to hear also the science of the quantum field and how it truly works. So guys, I would love to hear your thoughts on this, so be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, like the video, and comment below, letting me know what you think of the quantum field and what are your experiences with it.